Hey everyone, Side with Pinnacle Finance here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about 3 big things to avoid in the financial game in your 20s, maybe even your 30s and 40s, but especially in your 20s. And these are going to be really important because they can delay retirement, they can also cause you to go into bad debt, and they can also just lead into pitfalls and a lot of stress. And these are big 3 things that you see every day, or you may not even realize that you're doing. A lot of people throughout our lives try to tell you what to do. Financial planners try to tell you do this, do that. But it's also important, very, very critical to know what not to do. So let's start with number 1. This is the biggest thing that we all do as soon as we get into our first job right out of college, or maybe even while we're working in college or high school, is we go buy the brand new Xbox or brand new iPhone or the brand new MacBook, like a laptop right here. We try to buy the best thing, the most fun thing, and all this stuff. But it's really unnecessary. If something's working and you can save up for a year or 2 and buy it later on, if it's working just fine, there's really no reason to upgrade or buy the new latest thing. A lot of people go into debt, not only in these little things that are costing a couple $100 or $1,000, but they're going into debt buying the bigger things, which are going to be crazy huge house that they may not need. Or if you're just like an average person, you may be buying like a fancy car like the Mustang or the sports car or whatever. That things you really don't need in your 20s, because that's when you should be saving your money, that's when you should be growing, and that's where you build your foundation so that you can build a nice, strong future. Now, this is not to say that you have to live a very cheap or frugal life. You can still go out and party, see your friends and family, travel, have some nice things here and there, get a new iPhone and things like that. But don't go overboard. Just live below your means, which means that you have good enough income, you have enough to spend, you have enough to save, you also have enough to enjoy, because it is life. You want to enjoy the process. But just giving up just 3, 4, 5 years, of this partying like crazy lifestyle to dedicate it for your future, it's going to build you long-term decades and decades of freedom. And you look back and you say, oh wow, that was worth it. Because it's just a few years here and there, but giving up 3, 4, 5 years to have 40, 50, 60 years of freedom where you don't have to worry about money, you don't have to worry about a job and all these things, and you have the time, which a lot of people later on don't, because they're just looking for retirement, and they get old, and that's it. The second biggest mistake that I've seen people make, and that I've made myself before having the financial knowledge that I do now, is going to be not investing in yourself, because you are your biggest asset. That means you need to invest in yourself, because without you, there's no life, there's no relationships, there's no investing in real estate, stocks, bonds, and things like that. So big thing, and just a simple way to get started, is to just read books on financial investments or becoming an entrepreneur or just self-minded growth. First one, the book I really recommend is for my favorite mentor by Chris Cronin, is Have It All. Second one is going to be a very nice book, simple read, is by Napoleon Hill. It's very famous. It's called Think and Grow Rich. Third ones, you've obviously heard of him, Tony Robbins. This is only about 200-page book. It's called Unshakable. It's just going to get you over really the mindset, limits, and fears, and also talk about why 401k, IRA, and banks, all of that have failed people for retirement. So the biggest asset is going to be you. So you want to invest in yourself, and you can do that by reading books, going to the gym, keeping up with your mindset growth, building good relationships and surrounding yourself with positivity so that you can avoid all the negative and downfalls in life. Third financial mistake that you really want to avoid when you're young, or even just any time in life, is not having a financial plan. So what that basically means is that if you don't know where you're going, any road is going to get you there. And that's a big quote that I've learned. So you need to have a financial roadmap to say, hey, you're going to start here and you're going to end up here, and somewhere along the way you have ups and downs and so forth. So once you have a vision of what you want to accomplish, when you want to do it, then you have to write down every single thing, like, hey, by year 1, by next year, I'm going to have this much money, and this much, this car, this house, this investment, this much in my bank, etc. And this can be done with the financial broker, or I really recommend a fiduciary, because they can tell you what's in your best interest. And you also need to go over your personal finances. You need to go over it with your spouse if you have one, or even just with your friends, family, whoever that can help you with finances, whoever is positive with it and has some financial knowledge. And to also go back and look at the things that I talked about. The first tip was to avoid, what to avoid, the bad debt and things not to buy. And second was financial education and investing in yourself. And the third mistake that I just talked about is when people don't have a financial roadmap and financial plan, because that's pretty much what tells us how we're going to get there. We can all say, hey, I want to have a six-pack, or I want to have $100,000 in my bank account. But if you don't have a step-by-step plan of what you're going to achieve, then you never really get there. So that's the third biggest financial mistake to avoid, especially in your 20s and 30s.